Welcome back to the final episode of the Dhane and Josh Show, sponsored by Milk for Health. We have some special guests here today to talk about the back-to-back championships.
Today, we've brought along a couple of good buddies, some teammates I think as well, some guys that have really been grinding for the last couple of years. You guys don't need too much of an introduction, but Mickey, Cloutier, and Fraser, man, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Just happy to be here.
What have you guys been up to?
A lot of golf. It's not getting much better, but I'm trying hard.
Yeah, I've beaten you a few times recently.
Yeah, that's gonna end.
I heard the golf game's been struggling a little bit for you.
It's not necessarily struggling. It's more a mental game. Once I get my mentals right, yeah.
And Mick,
I talk myself
you
out of
jumped
shots.
right into another season. How's that going?
It's good. Josh and I, I'm in the PLL. We're 2-2 right now. Tough loss this weekend to the Archers, but miss you guys out there
Yeah,
a little bit. But no, it's been good.
One weekend we should honestly just bring everyone back and just have towers.
Alumni
What
weekend.
is going on?
We're all players.
That'd be awesome.
Again, thank you boys for jumping on. It's going to be a pretty easy conversation. Obviously, we've had a crazy couple of years. So I just want to kind of dive into a couple of things and, obviously, we can start off with just the playoff run. For me, it was trying to figure out what was going on and what was happening. And obviously after Vegas, I think the boys enjoyed themselves in Vegas a little bit. But then getting into playoffs, what was the mindset getting into playoffs? Were you confident? Were you feeling good about yourselves, or what was the mindset?
I was honestly, the Georgia game, I don't know if this is bad to say, but the Georgia game I was most nervous about. I think more so because it's a single elimination game, and after that it's series. Looking back, I felt the most nerves going into game one of playoffs. And then when you go through the game and you end up in overtime, then you're real nervous because obviously sudden death, anything happens. But
I think they need to change the rules with that because, again, like you said, it's one game. It's anything can happen. You could play anybody, and the league's getting so much tighter. So I think they need to change the rules the best 2 out of 3 because, like you said, it was nerve-wracking for myself. I felt the same way you felt. So
yeah, it's tough, man, because 2 out of 3 is they're tough. When you go back to back like that, those last two playoff series are tough, right? They're tough on the body. But I agree, man. You're going into Georgia and you're they're legit, they're good. They've kind of had our number.
You're on us twice this season.
Yeah. So obviously, Dar's a great goalie as well. But no, I feel you. What were you like? Because I feel like you get anxious sometimes.
Yeah. No, I don't know. This year, my whole goal was to kind of change the way I mentally approach games. And even being, I know we all joke about it, but one of my biggest things is try to not worry about stuff I can't control, like the refs. And I know it may not seem like I did a great job of it, but I was really trying to put a cap on it this year. But I was honestly more anxious throughout the regular season. And once we got into playoffs, I was kind of settled in. I mean, knowing we have Vino, who just can just shut people down in playoffs, and in big games, he's going to come ready to play. Our offense is going to come ready to play, and I don't know, just especially with this group of guys, you can't help but feel confident in the playoffs.
yeah, I feel like it was tough, not knowing if we were going to make playoffs at some point, and then finally realizing, okay, we're going to make playoffs, but where are we going to stand? And obviously, then getting a home playoff game. Kind of explain to us how important home playoff is.
I was kind of nervous in the sense of even getting into playoffs, but once we secured that home playoff game against at Calgary, when we beat them, it was just all right, confidence back. Boys are all happy, laughing, swagger, got that going. It was light and had the confidence going through. But yeah, nervous going into that Georgia game just because it was single elimination. But then after that, it was just fun.
Yeah, it's weird because again we don't really. One team we play well on the road is in Georgia, so we were kind of like, okay, like it could go one way or another, even if we don't squeak out the home advantage. But obviously, playing in front of 18,000 fans, 19,000 fans, there's no better feeling. But
I was just gonna say that exact thing, like not knowing what position it was ultimately just get in the playoffs, and then it all kind of fell where it did, where we ended up with a home game, which for us is huge because that's like a 6-man having Vanderland behind us. So to play there in front of basically sold out crowd all the time, especially in playoffs, it's only going to help us.
Yeah, honestly, man, like that Georgia game was so back and forth, low scoring game. Obviously, like you had an insane chance at the end of regulation. What was going through your head, running up the floor, even beforehand, right? Like when we call a timeout, and you have a chance to win it, and you're sitting there waiting for the ref to put the ball in your
Is it
stadium.
bad that I completely forgot that happened? No, I just knew that we won in overtime.
It's crazy because like I remember looking back at it and we didn't have a game plan. We're just like, we got to get up the floor quick. And my thought process was, am I going to be able to make it up quick enough? And then my second thought was like, if I give the ball to Cloutier, he's going to give it right back to me. And he kind of hesitated because he didn't expect somebody to jump him, rightfully so. He didn't know he was going to maybe pass Josh with the backhand or whatever it may be. And the guy kind of got in his hands and he got it back to me a little late, but that's okay. And it was the best time of my life for a couple seconds. And then I'm pretty sure Josh was saying, no goal, didn't count. So you get the game winner.
I put my foot in the crease as you're shooting it. But we actually have it here. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if you boys can see it, but it's, I didn't realize there's only 5 seconds left.
Oh, Cloutier, come on, man.
That was still pretty quick.
I mean, considering how quick you got jumped, like to take that and then
look at everybody.
Everybody was there.
Well, what was insane was like I remember being on top of you, and I think it was
I
you.
was laying right on top of him in a plank
And I was
position,
just
being like, "No, wait on Dane, can't hurt Dane, keep Dane safe."
But like I remember just thinking, I'm like, wow, I can't believe that's the one. Because I think you were struggling to score that game too.
I don't think I scored.
Yeah, and then that was one. I was like, yes, like that's it was meant to be.
Right.
And then I remember walking. There's literally we're looking up at this. We're looking up at like the jumbotron. We're like, no way.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, for me, like
I had a feeling
that it wasn't in.
I don't even think I ran over to like celebrate.
Oh, you were just on the bench getting water?
Well, no, I knew it was, like when I threw it, I looked at the clock right away and I saw it hit zeros before.
So you made sure to look and be like, okay, it's a good time. You won't get this off in time. No, it was a crazy sequence. And then obviously going into overtime, those possessions are so crazy. I feel
bad.
like, yeah, but like it's so hard because like as an offense player, if you don't score that shift, you're just like you can't control what the defense are doing, and vice versa. When you guys are on the bench, you're probably thinking the same thing, but just put the ball in the net. So it's just like emotional part. Like you guys get a huge stop, and you guys kept getting huge stops, and we kept getting opportunities. But I just remember, obviously, we were gassed, and Chris getting a huge turnover, and me picking up the loose ball and being like, I don't want the ball. Just get it away from me. So I gave it to Josh, and we're all just like walking out there. I'm walking to the middle of the floor. Were you out there for that one? No.
I was walking up to the pit.
yeah. We're just all walking. Josh was like, coming. I don't even know. He's probably getting the crowd going while he has the ball. Like,
man, I remember because I lost it. It slipped out of my stick earlier in overtime. Like I was just like,
I remember
the ball was. I remember the ball being so big.
And I was like so rattled, being like, man, like I'm playing awful in overtime. Like I'm like, this is really bad. And then when you got the strip, you passed it to me, and we were just walking. I remember just like walking, being like, man, we have to finish this. Like just so gassed. And then like
you were out there.
Yeah.
I was out there.
Yeah, you were.
Man, it's all a blur.
Yeah. And we have.
I was out there. Yeah.
But it's funny. Like I remember walking down and looking at you and knowing exactly what we were gonna do, and you literally you like point and you're like, yep, top side.
Well, it's a remake of the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is this free?
Or I think a goal that same game maybe.
No,
I think
it was in the regular.
Oh, okay.
Klutch points,
Yeah.
same move,
Hit play.
hits the same spot.
But I remember just looking at you and being like, yo, this is where we're doing this.
Can you tell the boys are gassed though, the celebration?
Everyone is
Thank God. Part of me though, in after your goal didn't count, it was almost felt like, okay, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like it was like a bit of pressure, but like good pressure, because like when you go into overtime, I feel like the anxiety kicks in, like the nervousness, like anything can happen. And obviously that's still the case, but like we thought we won the game, we celebrated like that. It's like, okay, we can't lose because like the season's done, but we'll look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. I just remember like the defense, and they weren't even getting shots. Like that's how good you guys were playing. And then I just remember looking into the stands, and everybody was on their feet for the whole overtime, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. Like we can't lose this game. Like this is incredible. And then obviously finishing off, it's probably one of the best games I've been a part of for sure. But like you said, you almost like forget about it because it's a grind after that as well. It's a long series, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tough. You know, and credit to Georgia, man. They're obviously, you know, a great team. They've been good for a while, and over the last couple of years, they needed a goalie, and obviously, you know, Dauber's a really great goalie as well. I feel bad, kind of. I was chirping him a little bit going through it, but
It's playoff lacrosse.
But yeah, it's part of it, man.
Anything goes.
It all comes
Friends
from
off.
it all comes from love, right? Like, you know, that was the only way that I felt I could get into his head, right? Is, you know, at the end of the day, just trying to get him to mess up, and he just kept getting better and better. But yeah, that was it for that game. We'll be right back talking about Toronto in the semis.
And we're back, and we're going to talk about probably the best sequence of events in lacrosse, and those two rivalries, two teams that don't like each other, Toronto and Buffalo. And you know what? I love talking about this.
I was going to say, I don't think they will agree that is the best series and the best sequence of events, but I agree with you.
I mean,
I'm with
it's
you.
probably one of the best two teams battling each other
100%.
in sports. I wouldn't even say just lacrosse. It's been going on for so long, and let's get into it. So, obviously, winning that game, it was ups and downs. We didn't have home field advantage. Talk to us a little bit about that, Ian. What was your thought process going into game one?
I mean, it was a mixture of excitement and nerves, especially because we were on the road the first game. In the past, we've had home floor to start, so
That's our first time, right?
yeah, I think it's our first time not having home floor.
Yeah.
So different scenario than usual, but I mean, Band of Land again travels so well. There's a ton of orange and black in the crowd, and you know, just excitement again. Like you said, it's one of the best rivalries, so it's always fun playing against them, and you know it's always going to be a battle. And if you asked me before the game if we would have them shut out going into halftime in playoffs, I probably wouldn't believe it. But I mean, again, Vino and the defense, and it was just wild series of events.
I mean, I didn't even realize it, but I'm looking here, and you obviously got the boys fired up right off the hop. You know, you scored the first goal of that series.
Let's watch that.
You want to see it? You want to check that one out again? All right. What were you thinking? Because, like, you know, I don't know if it's the best shot selection. But
It's always a good shot selection. I remember being a slow break. I don't know if I got the loose ball in the corner and was just like slowly running it up, or if I got a pass, but I mean, usually I'm looking for a breakaway.
I was open.
I think I was open too. Yeah.
Of course, everyone else is open.
the trailer.
So is the left side of the net. But being on the wrong side set an unreal pick there. And he's a massive body, and my hands were free as I was getting closer to the net, and tried to throw my best twister and got lucky.
I feel like we have two guys that step up in big games against Toronto, both Chris and Fraser. Talk to us about that, Fraser. I know you love going against Toronto. I know Toronto doesn't like playing against you, and
I feel like you're either like you're gonna get killed or you're gonna score 10. Like it's either
or both.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. It's just staring off and like seeing those colors, those jerseys, and just like, I don't know, being from the West Coast might have something to do with like that Vancouver Toronto thing, but it's just I don't know, just going into there, you just don't like that in a sense of just turn it on, and just to play just my style of lacrosse.
Right.
Yeah.
Poke at them a bit.
Just a little bit.
Point at a corner,
Yeah.
and it's not a corner.
A couple highlight reel goals.
I don't know, just have fun. Basically, it's just like that's the environment where it's like there's pressure on because of the rivalry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just it's one of those games where, for me, it's just everything is just nothing else matters besides just that and just going out and having fun with my boys.
Yeah. What about you though? Because like you're a little bit different. Where you grew up in Kitchener, so like that's almost like your hometown team in a way.
Yes and no. I actually, when I was young, my dad, one of my coaches in minor was Andrew Watt,
Yeah.
who played for the
Yeah.
Bandits, and Benny was an ex-Bandit as well. He was one of my coaches as well. And my dad would actually always take me to Bandits games. We actually rarely went to
Really?
Rock games. If we were going to go watch a game, we'd make the drive to Buffalo. And actually, before I got drafted, all my boys from home said, if you could have your pick, where would you go? And I said Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then was drafted to Philly. Purposely got out of shape so I
Yeah,
could be
smart.
drafted to Buffalo.
Smart. I purposely got hurt so he could get you too.
Yeah.
It's all in the plan.
Yeah, but I don't know. Getting back to Toronto, I just think their style of play benefits us. Our style of play, we're a very athletic team. So are they. But it's easier to be athletic and determine what you're doing, whereas defense is reactionary, and they spread out and try and lock everyone off, and that just opens up the middle of the floor for all of us. And working with you, if I set a pick, everyone's so worried about you. I roll, and I usually have a good spot wide open in the middle of the floor, and you can't ask for a better opportunity than that.
Yeah, no, big time. It is crazy. You everything happens so fast that you forgot that. I forgot that they didn't score a goal. Vino had 54 saves and 4 goals allowed in game 1.
Well, do you know what's crazy is I think a big momentum changer in the game was they did score, but it got called back.
Oh yeah.
And then
Chris
Belter booking
Yeah.
it to the bench, and we get it up the floor to Cloutier.
You got a
He
video of that one?
right
Wait,
away.
was that
Belter with the push.
Belter.
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
was it Belter or was that Forrest
No.
Gump? I couldn't tell which one.
His ankle braces, the plastic ones, just start breaking off. He's just it's free.
But on the other, if that happens to you, you got to be crushed.
Rattled.
Finally score.
Right.
And it was nasty too. I'm pretty sure
It was-
Schreiber
yeah,
went
Schreiber kicked the corner.
gross on it.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Wasn't it a bouncer, I think?
I don't know. It was.
Tickled the onion better.
Oh no, it was shelf.
Yeah, it was
But it's
Belter
crazy.
the one who pushed
Like,
at
Belter
him.
pushed
Yeah,
it in,
and he's
and then
gone. All the
they're
fans
also
are saying.
no one knows what's happening.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
backbreaker.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
they had
It's a
scored
2-goal
that
swing.
one,
Yeah.
In this replay, you see Belter push him in, and then he just you see
Takes
big
off.
boots just up at his knee height.
Which is it's good for you because
Right here.
honestly he's just
Look,
gone.
there he goes.
Gone. It's crazy because for him to be a rookie and to be in such an important game and to react like that is impressive, and he definitely stepped up. And then you with your classic point.
It's the only celly I know how to do.
We obviously dominated that game. Obviously, the fans traveled so well. It felt like almost a home game, like we said. How important do you think it was for Weiser to kind of step in like he did and answer the bell and kind of we kind of knew we were dominating in all aspects, and then he did that. It was like momentum shift. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think when a game's kind of going like that, in the back of your mind, you expect something might happen, whether it does or not. Obviously, you let it play out, but in a way, I'm happy it didn't happen to someone younger, or definitely not me, or it's an old guy or
Cross
something.
my mind, man. That would be getting
Yeah,
jumped
you know what I
all
mean?
the time.
Because it could have escalated way worse if it was a different situation. And for Weiser, he didn't stand up necessarily right away, but I mean, I think the wires crossed and he saw red and went for it. So
and it's so
fun. All the credit to him, he didn't end up backing away. He stood up, went after it. Took a couple, obviously got split open, and didn't even faze him, and he was.
I think that's what set him off. I think he was like, no one makes me believe.
Dude, that's what's playing in my head every time I watch the video. It's like, nobody makes me believe.
I just remember Paulie Dawson right after that, just going to the bench. Okay, who's fighting me now? Like we still have 5 other tough guys. Who are you gonna choose now? And
It makes it nice for us, eh?
yeah. It really does. So, I mean, that was crazy. But let's talk about game 2. Obviously, that's another one going back to home. What do we play? Well, we have a day off, and then we get back into it.
Boys had a little golf outing.
Yeah, that was just to recover a little bit,
Yeah, it was nice.
erase the mind, and obviously playing back in Banditland, it's going to be a sold-out crowd or whatever it may be, and
They made a really good adjustment though. They like packed it in more than what they normally had in the past, and like you even said it, like, I feel like we're at our best when teams are pressing out and coming at us, like, and when they packed it in, it was kind of like, ooh, like we struggled, man. Like we struggled for the majority of the game offensively. D was still pretty good. I think it was like 8-4 in the fourth. We had 4 goals going into the fourth, so it was pretty crazy. But like even so, like where were you guys' heads at going into that game? Like were you confident? Were you like I don't know, or like?
I was honestly, that's when I more get like nervous, because like we just beat up on them pretty bad, where like that's where you can get the complacent thoughts in your own head and also light the fire under theirs. So like you just kind of sit back and like you're thinking about it, and you're like, we really should go in and do that again, but like you can't think like that because they're an unbelievable team, first all regular season, and they could step up and play anyone really good at any point.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of lingering in the back of your mind. It's like, is everyone going to show up with the same intensity we did last time? Like, because in playoffs, you need everyone in that room. You need everyone to come ready to play. You can't have guys, taking a night off because, the night before was, considered easier or lighter.
Yeah, I mean, for me especially, like, we're going into the fourth quarter, we're looking up, and I'm like, man, we got a tall task here. They're playing well. Rosie's playing well. Their offense was buzzing around, and like, it's funny. I feel like anytime like I look at you, and we always look at each other, and we're like, all right, like let's go.
Yeah, I remember that. We looked at each other and we're just like down by 4. We're like, hey, you gotta do something, and then go out there. And I think I scored that one shift, and then Hogue scored, and then you scored, and then I scored, and it was just like
it was insane. Like that feeling. It was like the first one was kind of like, all right. The second one, you're like,
so you told me we got a chance.
I've never seen like the arena shift in sports until that moment. I swear to God, I've heard about it, and maybe I've seen it, but like that was the first time I felt it, and it was crazy because to kind of go back a little bit, I remember at halftime how frustrated we were as a unit offensively. We never really get down on each other or whatever, but I felt like we were kind of like, it was my turn, and they weren't falling, and it was just like a little bit selfish in it. And those things happen sometimes, but I remember just like we stuck together. I think I might have got the first one right away out of the gates, humble brag.
Yeah,
and then, but then we struggled a little bit, and then again, like you said, the momentum switch. You could feel it. Like it was crazy. And you guys holding them down, like it was wild.
It definitely didn't take a 5-minute either.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit. What was going through your mind when that happened, actually?
I mean, I feel like I don't play like that, like super mean physical game. Like I'm a smaller guy on defense, especially if you look at our team, like 5'10" on a good day, and everyone else is like 6'3", 6'4". So, but I don't know. I just like there was a slow change, and I like Littner came on slow, and I gave him one, and I'm pretty sure he said like, "Oh, you got a good spot," and I was like, "Well, okay, I'm gonna keep going here and keep trying to find that spot." And then he turned and ended up getting him in the chin. But like as soon as if you look at my body reaction, like it was like you knew instantly, and you knew it was probably gonna. I mean, they usually call 5s and then review it.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for the best. I was telling them like I'm not a bad guy. Like please don't give me the 5.
Please do.
But then you're sitting in the box and you're like helpless.
Yeah.
Like because if they score, you don't come out.
Yeah.
Like it's after 2 that you go back to 5-on-5, but you have to serve the full 5.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Serve your whole
Just-
timeout.
When was that?
going into halftime.
Into halftime?
Yeah, it was
Gotcha.
in the second quarter.
Yeah. Well,
So tough one.
yeah. Well, that'd work.
But like I know, like at halftime, I switched like my mindset, and I was like, well, not necessarily switch my mindset, but I was like, okay, I can't do something stupid again.
Yeah.
And you got to find a way to like make it up, but like not like hurt the team. So for me, like my whole thing all year was loose balls. So I was like, I'm not letting anyone beat me to a loose ball. I'm not letting anyone.
They didn't score on that,
No,
did they?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
On the 5.
Definitely didn't score 2.
I think we got another penalty.
We scored 1. No?
I don't know. There was a lot of shorthanded goals that we scored,
Yeah.
but we're pretty dangerous short. I remember in the championship there was one, but I can't. I mean, it just goes to show you though, like I feel like our penalty kill was lights out.
Yeah.
Especially like getting Paulie,
When you have 4 guys.
who's pretty much playing goalie.
Yeah. Wired.
3 shots off the face.
Crazy.
Smiles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, insane. But like especially for you, like I mean, I feel like you were like the star of that fourth quarter comeback, and like that last goal you scored, where you're just running to the bench, high stepping. Like, what's going on? Like, are you like you obviously you can't have anything planned celebration?
No, that's just, it's all just reactionary, and like what it was just like the momentum that we had, the energy in the building. It was like at an all-time high, and then that one it just popped. Like everybody just felt it, and like you just kind of like saw down their bench in a sense, and just saw like everybody's heads just drop, and like internally just kind of like was just like celebrated. And I looked up, I was like, oh, there's 5 minutes left still. I go, there's tons of time, and I go, I think our defense gonna play unreal. Vino is just lights out in that time. Like people are sacrificing their bodies, soaking shots, and like we get that ball back down again. Probably goes for 1 or 2 more. I was like, we're good. Like we are good. Like we just. Just,
And I say it to you all the time, like you're at your best when you're getting the crowd going and like gets us going offensively. It's like cocky and confident, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. But like again, when it is, let me tell you, I get going. It's awesome. It's
You're spot on though, because like you said, the crowd like was on their feet the last.
Yeah.
I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So loud in there, like it was insane. I also have never seen anything like it.
Right.
I mean, you're like the momentum. It was like you could feel it, and it was like we knew, and they knew, and that there was nothing that they could really do about it, right? But we'll be right back after this, talking about a little bit of the championship matchup. All right, welcome back. Obviously, we got to talk about the best part, and it's that championship series, against Albany. And, against a team that obviously had a great season, but at the same time, didn't have a lot of experience there. But I feel like those are the scariest teams.
Oh yeah.
Right?
They had nothing to lose, and there's a reason they made it that
exactly, right? So they're extremely good. They're young and they're talented. They don't care, right? And also, like, I feel like for us, like our team plays really, really good against teams that they know, like Toronto, like Mark Matthews, Schreiber, like especially with V2, like when he knows the shooters, like he's on it.
Yeah.
So going into that Albany series, like again, like were you nervous about it?
I mean, yeah, naturally. I think it's the same thing, nervous and excited. Same kind of situation. We don't have home floor. We're busing to Albany. A little further of a trip. Being on the bus, that doesn't happen a lot for us. I think Albany's our first game of the year. So, excited, nervous, like not really knowing what to expect. Our team was way different from both times we played them. Like first game of the year, obviously, a lot of new guys on the team trying to figure it out. And then second game, I think is when Vino was hurt. But I feel like there's also confidence there because of the run we were on, coming off the Toronto series, the ending of the regular season. Just felt like we were in a really good spot, and we'd been there before, obviously the last couple of years. So I think there wasn't any nerves around the fact that like we're in the finals, like not knowing what to expect. Like almost everyone had been there except for maybe a couple guys. So
it's funny you talked about like them being younger, all this stuff. My thought process when playing these guys going into game one is just like these guys, like it frustrated me because I've been in the league for 10 plus years and weathering myself a little bit, but like I went through a lot of downs before I got up, and these young guys they make it to the finals and like they think it's easy, and like it was just frustrating me that like they had an opportunity to maybe take one from us and they don't even know how much it takes to grind like throughout the years. And I know like some of our guys have won now 2 in a row and stuff like that, so there's a few of those guys, but they had like basically their whole team just like never won before and stuff like that. So all I could think about is like I cannot let these guys do it because they need to know what it feels like to lose a series. But obviously it was a little bit different this year going on the road, like you said. Talk to us, Cloutier, about obviously our fans traveling to Albany.
Yeah, we touched on it a couple times, but like it's crazy when you get into like the championship game and you're on the road and it feels like a home game. Like also like, I mean, we've done it a few times where we go out before we're supposed to and they're like announcing their players. But it was kind of like a greasy move by us, but I also love the fact that when they were being introduced, all you could hear was "Let's go Bandits." And like you couldn't even hear who was being introduced. Right.
And for them to show up like that, again, like you said, we had a game the next day. And so like that's a quick turnaround for you to drive 4 or 5 hours, whatever it is, and then watch a game that's 2 hours and drive 4 or 5 hours and we play during the afternoon the next day. It's like good for them, like, and it's amazing.
It also it's something about that, like when you can hear more of your own crowd in an away arena, like it just like nothing will get you more motivated.
Right.
Like whenever we play Rochester, it feels like a home game, and like I'm getting goosebumps right now, like thinking about it. Like, but when you hear that before the game and you know you're on the road and you're like, in my head, I'm always like, this must suck for them, but like it's unreal knowing that you have that support, and especially after like we didn't have our best season, it would have been very easy for fans to kind of fall off, but they stuck with us and rode with us to the very end, and definitely like you said, we're our sixth man all the way through the end.
And if like going into the series, they're like their social media is like, don't let Buffalo take over, take over, like doing everything they could to like try to make sure that there wasn't as much Bandits fans in there, but obviously Buffalo doesn't pay much attention to it.
Rather
showed up well.
Don't do something means do something.
But it was crazy, like coming out of the tunnel and seeing it, you're like, oh my god, like this is unreal. I mean, there was a moment though, it's funny that it just popped into my head, like when we came out and they were introducing all their guys and stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Their backup goalie came. I don't even know if I told you.
I saw this.
He came. Did you
and
see
he
it
did
too?
like the what's up?
He came running out and was like, "What's up, bro?" Like,
tried to aisle.
you're the backup. Like,
I'm like,
Josh
dude.
was
Like, did you just see that?
And I was like, dude, that was kind of crazy. Like, I was like, okay, cool. It kind of put me into that. Like, all right, cool. Let's
I have a question. Do you think that he was doing that at us, or you think he does that every game to no one?
I don't know. Maybe
to the crowd.
Maybe.
He's doing it to the crowd, like let's go, or was he doing it to us?
It looked like he was looking at my
soul.
It
looked like he was looking down at us, but also we weren't supposed to be out there.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe that's why he was doing it, was because you're not supposed to be out here.
True.
But we were. So
let's get him on the pod.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, like, I get it though, because like he has to have confidence in his counterpart, Dougie, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously, Dougie's an unreal goalie. What's it like shooting on a guy like that? Because for me, it's like he takes up so much room, and it's hard. You got to hit your spots.
Deceivingly quick too. Like he can take it away pretty quick.
Yeah.
I've never been like a like a do your homework shooter.
Wait, you're telling me you're not a big film guy?
This year I watched more film than I ever have before. But in not looking at my shots, I'm more looking at like what I'm doing off ball, on ball, and how I can get myself and other guys more open. When I'm shooting, I like to, take what's given and like see it and shoot it. Like Dhane, you like to know your spots, and I think that's the next step for me is like having that confidence to just hit your spots, because you can catch guys more off guard. But like Dougie, he's just so good at like kind of playing his angles and then knowing where that one spot is, and he'll like sometimes jump there. But knowing that, I kind of went the other way, and I was like, okay, he's jumping far side on me a lot. I gotta like pump him and then either put it high far or short, or I just go back to the well.
Is he a give take guy on
Big
a
time.
set offense?
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's like when I'm coming down, whether it's a breakaway or like odd man, it's like he's hugging a pipe, giving you a whole bunch of
Same
net.
thing.
So
He's also good at like taking away or giving and taking, but still covering the areas that you would hit or want to hit when you know he's jumping. Right?
Yes.
That's like he's good at leaving that foot close to that pipe, that knee kind of straight up, or if it's that offside, use that hand out where he needs to. It's just like
it's frustrating, right? And
Pick
that's
a
a thing. Like it's give take, but it's like it's not like he's exactly. It's not like he's giving. It's not like when he takes it, he's like leaving this big wide open
Still gotta
spot.
hit a shot.
Like you still gotta hit your spot to a point where it's like, and then it's messing with your head because you're like, is he gonna do it again? I don't know.
that felt really good.
Obviously, the travel wasn't ideal. We, again, like you said earlier, we didn't bus much. Our travel was weird this year, where we didn't travel at all at the beginning of the year. Then we were just like flying everywhere towards the end of the season. But kind of talk to us about like what that was like, being on the bus. It wasn't ideal, I know that. How the body felt, what you kind of did the next day to kind of recover, all that kind of stuff. I'll ask you first, Chase. I know you love to recover, but
Bus thing, I brought the Normatex with me and laid on the floor. I just sat in them for like an hour, stretched around, sat in for another 30 minutes, and kind of was like Russell Wilson out there. I was walking up and down the island. I know a couple of us were. Ian was on the ground there too, so it'd be
Like we had a train of
there's like 5 guys in a row Normatec.
You tried to
Shout out Clarky.
You tried to go to the bathroom and you were playing like parkour, jumping seat to seat, which wasn't ideal for the bodies, right? But no, we made it work. Got home at like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
yeah.
Slept for maybe 3-4 hours. Went to practice with us. I got the IVs, cryotherapy, practice, lunch, and then was just dialed after my nap.
I remember that was the most anxiety I had all playoffs. It was whether I was going to take the bus or not.
The bus hadn't shown up yet.
I just remember I was like caught between like, if I drive myself, I'm going to drive home faster than the bus and like not be cramped in and just like get home and get to sleep. But then on the other side was like, all the boys are on the bus. Like this is like, no matter the outcome of this game, like it's a good chance for the boys to kind of be in it together and like, endure the same thing together. So I was like, I got to take the bus with the boys. And
You're one guy that can sleep after games right away. Like we've talked about this. I don't even know how. Like again, we didn't get home to 3 or 4, whatever it may be. You
When did you get home?
3-4 hours.
Yeah,
I didn't take the bus. I got home like an hour before you guys. I sat in the hot tub, and then I couldn't sleep. So I got 3 hours of sleep, probably as like just as much as anybody else, and I napped during the game days, so that kind of helped. But it was just like adrenaline, like thinking about last game, thinking about this next big one. It's a crazy. It's crazy events.
I mean,
shoot around in the morning.
Right.
The one thing that's really nice that I think we haven't had in the past, like the other finals, was the second game was in Buffalo, so we were able to like use everything that we use on a daily basis. Like the cryo was massive for us, right? Obviously Jake over at cryo, really hooks us up and helps us out. So that for me was huge to be able to kind of dive in there. And obviously, at the end of the day, you're just literally going off adrenaline. Like that's literally what it comes down to. I mean, I don't nap. I don't nap during games. So like, I was just like,
That's
chilling.
crazy.
I was chilling. I had to go back I went back to Canada, across the border for physio, PT with Dave, and then, got back and pretty much put my suit on and came for the game. So, I mean, yeah, that's the only thing. You have to make sure that you're taking care of your body and stuff like that. Because it's almost impossible to get through 2 games like that at that high caliber, back to back, like without anything like that. Would you guys have rather played Friday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday?
I think the second day is always worse.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would have been more sore on Sunday. I think, like you said, it's all adrenaline. If you like got to come back, barely sleep, and then you got a game, like it's like you almost don't have time or the brain power to think about how sore you are.
100%. And they had to do it too, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's no advantage. Yes, they're a younger team, but like you said, I agree. Your body doesn't know what's going on. You're just battling.
Dude, I don't know. For me, like, I need sleep. And so when I don't get sleep, like, that following day, I feel like I'm in, like, a twilight zone.
Yeah.
So, like, going through that game, I was just like, I don't know what is going on. Like, and I feel like for us, I feel like it's almost an advantage to play the next game when you win the first game.
Yes.
Because there's not much time for you to think about it. There's not much time about, what happened last night. And it's also, like, it's fresh in your memory.
Film,
Film
like all
stuff.
that stuff too. Like,
It's hard to make adjustments
Adjusting,
if you're the other team, like, right? Like, if you're the defensive, you just get lit up. You have to adjust things, and to do it the next day, like, you're switching up. Yeah, exactly.
And you're on a bus and you're not sleeping very much. Like, if people are like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think in that sense, it was nice for us because we were just like riding up that momentum into Banditland, and obviously, it helps when you have 19,000 packed. And people are going absolutely insane, and you're driving down and you're seeing people in jerseys and tailgating.
Shoot around in the morning, leaving lunch, and people are showing up tailgating.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
all right,
how about shoot around when they'd already put all the towels out and like the blue
That was
seats
cool.
or
That was
storage, like that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
We got to talk
was
about
really
one
cool.
thing. Obviously, we're on to the second game, and everybody wants to know about the hidden ball trick between Chase and Josh. I was in the penalty box screaming at Leo Steros on the other time, so I didn't really get to see it, but it made me happy because I could chirp him a little bit as well. So,
But he stood up on the penalty box bench and was just like,
I was. It was a good feeling for me. So I took a stupid penalty, and you guys got that one. I think you got another shorty too. I don't think that was a shorty, but I think we got a shorty. With that being said,
I think we scored. Didn't we score a shorty?
we scored 2. You scored 1.
scored shorty at the beginning of the game
No,
after that.
Bucky.
Yeah, Bucky.
Yeah, the first goal.
Oh,
Bucky had that
So
little-
did we take a penalty the first It was you. Yeah, that's right.
Guilty,
That's right.
yeah.
It wasn't even that bad of a pick, but you dummied him.
Yeah.
It was a good pick.
Solid
But
feet, solid
I remember
stature, just
literally, it must have been the first shift.
It was.
And I was
My
thinking back,
first shift,
I
yeah.
feel like we did this probably 5 times this year where we took a penalty off the face-off team or
Yeah.
starting shorthanded.
Yeah.
Against them too, both times probably.
I think we did it against Toronto.
We did it against everyone. It happened every time it happened. And me and you'd be on the bench, and I couldn't help but just look at you and laugh.
Yeah, we were both
it's
just like,
this is just like
We are one
every
emotional
time.
team, to say the
Yeah.
least,
Yeah.
for sure.
Big time.
I remember setting that pick and then them going up to the 5 and I was like 5 minutes and I was like, you are not starting this game with a 5-minute penalty. It was so bad.
That's right.
And then they took it down and I said, thank you.
Thank you. And then that's got to be tough too, right? Like you come into a game, especially for Albany, right? They coming in, they need this one on the road. They get a power play right off the bat, and we score a short-handed goal, and they're like, "Come on." But you were talking about
The hidden ball trick.
yeah.
I know you want to show it. Your
I would
highlights,
love
you
to show it.
love
It wasn't
Already
even
watched
my.
it 8 times over
Was
there.
it my highlight?
I think it's
Before
more
you
yours.
guys-
It was on you, bud. Not
Yeah,
me.
the more you
Before you guys
sold
talk
the
about
ball.
it, I snuck up for a shift of offense, shocker, but
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how it started, if there's a loose ball or something, but I was like getting ready. You and I always have kind of something set on that we
Yeah.
always go to on resets or when I come up the floor or whatever. And I was getting ready to set a pick, and you come flying through me, and you lose your stick, and I like panicking, like going to look for it, and then you're running by yourself in the corner celebrating, and I was like, what is happening right now? Like,
Did you talk about it beforehand?
No.
I originally thought you got stripped and the ball came out of your stick and went into the net. I was like, what?
You're a wizard, Harry.
What kind of magic trick is that?
We got it here. It's a shocker. I found it. Yeah, this was crazy because I felt right here it was good.
That when I saw like how close our
Yes.
sticks were in the ball window, and I go, this might work.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
were
replay it?
were you freaking out? Like you gotta hit this?
I this
a
one
scary
was
Like,
sure
shot
what
to
you
say.
said.
I did one earlier this year. I forget who it was against, where I panicked and just rifled it and hit the D guy. But when I
Yeah.
turned, I was just like, like when we're golfing, nice and easy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like, just put it there.
But your D guy knew, right?
He didn't really like a little bit, but yeah. No,
But this was, and it was perfect because your body is
Yeah,
protecting it.
it
from
is.
Dougie,
see, like I'm
right?
like, you run flying.
Even the
by
camera
me.
guy thinks that I got it. Right?
Yeah, you're trying to go through a triple T.
Like, what is this guy doing?
Which
But it's
is
not
kind of
surprising.
normal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of
So
normal, like,
replay it, but
That kind of looks
Watch-
like your goal from
watch-
the regular season.
so as a defense, usually you like someone tries to do this and you yell out who it is. Watch
Yeah.
Dougie. He's like, well,
Oh,
here we go.
yeah.
He has no idea. Like he just
50-50.
I'm gonna see who else has it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
which is crazy because like in that position, like I've been baited before.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
where they like
Yeah.
look one
Yeah.
way and then they just like you're
That
like
crossed
oh.
my mind too with it, because like I know he's done it. Where,
Yeah.
But like he just the way he stepped out to you, I was like, oh
Yeah.
like, I
Well,
got him.
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly, and I felt it. Like as soon as you came down, and like our sticks like both came down together.
Yeah.
And like I knew you had it, and I looked up, I looked back at you, and I was like, ooh. And I look at Dougie, I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta go. And I just remember just like attacking, and like you were kind of looking at me, and beer, I was like, what? Like you trying to set a pick, and like I'm like, I gotta just sell this as best as possible right now.
So once you scored, what were you saying? to the
I didn't
bench?
say anything. I
What
didn't
were
say
you doing?
anything.
How
Just,
did- why
turn
did you get this
around.
penalty?
I turned to the bench and go, oops.
Didn't say anything.
Or just, like, there's no way he would have heard that. Anybody would have heard me because I literally probably said it out loud, with just my hands up, like, my bad.
Between this one, all the chase
Push-ups.
Yeah, oh, the chase effect. That's what that is right there.
Yeah.
I was just so
Momentum
shocked it worked.
Man, it was pretty funny though, cause like literally, I'm like I'm trying to find my stick, and I'm like I can't leave it. Or then I hear like tweet, like oh blah, and then like I hear him like point at you and get to the boss. I'm like,
So I looked at him, I was like, all right, like, yeah, sure, but I'm like,
well, like
that's
I'm
kinda wild.
coming
Like,
back to you. I'm like, how did you manage to get a penalty within 5 seconds of us scoring that Aldridge?
I don't know.
Effect.
But I think I was just laughing at you. And I literally looked at you and was like, "Don't worry about it, we got you."
Yeah,
like,
so I like, laughed, and then when
And then I look
sat
at-
beside
I
my
look-
buddy
I look at Dhane,
Dane's
and
still
he's just
losing it. Like,
Oh, it's not talking about the- yeah, I did.
Where's my like this? Like, Dane, relax.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. I mean, that was obviously incredible. But like, what was weird was like the goals that we were scoring in the first half of that game was like we were scoring them in the fourth. Like there was like you
And
had
we
one
almost
where
forgot.
you shoveled it in corner.
Yeah.
You did your shovel.
You had a shovel.
the same thing.
Bucky's one-handed.
Yeah, like there was like, and it was just like we couldn't miss.
My overhand,
Yeah,
smooth
yeah.
over.
One thing that was
Yeah.
wild
Far
about
away.
that game though, it was like we were scoring those goals early, and like normally when we're scoring that stuff and energies like that, it's like okay, we'll get like a 5-6 goal spread on the team.
Yeah.
It got cut every time to one
Yeah.
or two, and we're just like, holy,
All right,
like,
here we
they
go,
wouldn't
like-
go away, which is like
Yeah.
hats off to them for being young and tenacious like that. But
Yeah.
like, that was a little stressful that you kind of watched the game over. You're like, you never really had the game
No,
because they
no.
kept coming back. but,
They kept scoring one, and like, yeah, I mean you were, and it's funny. You try and say that you're not, I don't even know how to say it.
You can say greasy.
Greasy instigator. But it's funny because obviously, like I ended up rooming with Kurtz in the PLL, and he's like, man, MacKay, I swear to God, man, our entire team hates him. Like, he's the Leo Steros for you guys.
I don't know why.
And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, man, he's just always greasing guys and talking crap and just like all that stuff. And I'm like,
There's a mic'd up. Go watch it. That's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
That's a defeated look.
Yeah.
Did we actually think we were gonna kind of make playoffs at 6-5. Realistically, that was a crazy year with roller coaster. I feel like we were like the Colorado when they beat us. Like again, like wasn't the best record, but we just needed to make playoffs. And obviously that was ups and downs. But each of you guys, we kind of want to hear what your favorite moment was, besides obviously winning back-to-back championships throughout this year. I'm not going to put you on the spot first because it looks like you're thinking hard. So we'll go with Chris. Chris first.
Favorite moment. Favorite moment. I mean, the parades are always fun. Are we talking in lacrosse or after the celebration?
I mean, you like to party, so I like that answer. So
my name's Chris, and
I
like to party.
I like to party.
No, I don't know. For me, I just have fun playing on this offense.
Yeah.
And when we get going, and like, it's fun when everyone is just as excited as if they scored when someone else scores. And like the celebrations after, and like we'll go out and score, and like I won't even touch the ball the whole shift. And like when I'm so fired up when someone else scores, or you guys are so fired up if I score, and we look at each other and I see that genuine excitement in like your face. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun, and like I can't really narrow it down to one.
I mean, just
one
that
exact
finals
moment.
in general.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like, in my opinion.
I've got to play for you, and exactly I know what you're talking about. Like, I wasn't even really a part of it, but like we were talking about it against Rosie, and it was in the regular season.
Oh.
And it was like, and,
Oh, yeah.
and we were like,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you get this shot, and you went backside to Dane, and we've been talking about it, like, and like we scored, and it was like maybe, I don't know, like 8-6 or something like that.
It was
like,
there early in the game.
Yeah, and like
too.
Before halftime,
we
and
came
everybody
running
just,
like we
that was it.
would have thought it was an overtime.
Yeah,
Like
that was
we
it.
were like, you did the thing,
That
you
was
did it.
I think Dane jumped on me and wrapped his legs.
That was a great example.
We're just like, I did the thing.
How about you, Ian?
I mean, to touch on like what you're saying, like I think obviously everyone's goal is to win a championship, but when we were at 5 and 6, and I think it quickly changed to just make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then we kind of went on a run, and the chips fell where they did, and obviously ended the way we wanted. But favorite moments probably in practice when I get to come up play offense with you guys, get my shots, get my looks. But I honestly a thing I love is traveling with the guys, whether it's bus early in the year like Albany, Rochester, or flights, because it's times where you get to know the younger guys better. You see like personalities come out. You see guys stressed out on planes and panic.
Who gets stressed on planes?
You and Vino hitting turbulence and panicking, but it's just like those times. Like obviously, you play to playing games and to try to win games and championships and all that, but it's little things away from it. So I always love traveling with the guys.
Great answer. It's like you had this written out or something. How about you? You had all this time. You were just listening to that.
We'll see you next episode.
It's almost worse to go last though, because like they think
absolutely.
like the generic, like I like being with the boys.
One thing that comes out is just like every time you like beat Toronto, that's like always like something I love doing, right? But like the other thing is just like that I really love about playing with this team and all this. It's just like everybody like around us in that locker room all has that same kind of mindset. Even when we're at 5 and 6, it's just like we're all looking at each other like, when are we gonna do this? Like what's going on here? When are we like we just all have that confidence and trust into each other. That's like something that I just won't like I'll always just take away from being a part of this organization and team, that we just know that we're here to get a job done, and we all know our job and are well willing to do whatever it takes to help each other with their success in their job, which also helps us with ours.
Can I change my answer?
No.
I'm gonna anyways. My favorite part is when we picked up Connor Farrell. I'd have to say face-offs.
That's a good one.
True. Yeah.
That's fair. Honestly, for me, like I feel like one of my favorite moments, and it was between just you and I. And I remember looking at you, and we were like 5 and 6, kind of around that ballpark. And I remember looking at you, being like, "Dude, the Chiefs were terrible, and they went back to back, and we kind of had that same kind of vibe." I'm a big believer in like momentum and just like the way that the universe works. I was just like, man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do exactly what they did. We're gonna go back to back and get hot at the right time. And like we all came together. And it's funny that you say that about the flights thing, because like you look at when we started to kind of change momentum was when we started having those road games, when everyone started to come together, right? Like, and then bang, you start to win, and it starts to build. You get a guy like Paulie, like Farrell, and like you kind of feel the team just like really come together and hold on. And that was for me one of my favorite moments. I was like, we're gonna do this. I think everyone else in the league's kind of like,
Not again.
these guys are getting hot again. Like, what about you?
I was hoping we weren't going to answer. I wasn't looking at you to answer that question.
You looked at me like you wanted me to answer, so I panicked and answered.
Okay, well, you kind of said a little bit what I was going to say, but like bringing in like Paulie and the Milkman, those are two changeable of our games.
Speaking of milk, big shout out to our sponsor, Milk for Health. It's some good chocolate milk, boys. I know.
I'll try it. Well, cheers to this.
You know what? I've tried it before. You get this. I'll take it.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, fellas. Appreciate you guys jumping on.
Shout out Farrell.
Yeah, Milkman. We actually can get right into some of these fan questions right about now. We've got one from Jackie. Shout out Jackie. I don't know if it's probably just a random Jackie. Was this year's championship better than last year's?
It was different. I don't know, like I don't like comparing them because like your first one is like obviously that's what you've worked your whole life to do and you finally get it, and then to win, especially in back to back, you're like, wow, we actually did that, like, and like just different scenarios. So, but I don't know. I don't know if one's necessarily better than the other for me at least.
I think the second one is like the first one is unbelievable, but the second one is like there's always gonna be haters and doubters, and they're always gonna have those reasons why we won, whether it be the hit against Challen in that first one. There's always excuses
the reason
as to why you won. Whereas if you follow it up with another one, it's like
can't say nothing.
Like what now?
Yeah.
From Tim, I'll ask Chase this. What was the hardest game during your playoff run?
The first game against Georgia, right? Just with the single game elimination and just how like tight that game was and going into overtime. That's the hardest one right there.
Yeah, no, big time. I'd have to agree with you, man. That was one of the toughest games for sure. And I think those Georgia guys are pretty upset about the whole thing because they're probably like, damn, we were this close to going on a run as well. And they'll have their time too, I'm sure. From Zach.
Is this Belter or?
It's probably Belter. I'm not gonna lie, it probably is Belter. If there was an NLL video game, what would your overall ratings be?
99.
For you or for Chase?
For me.
Oh, okay. Right.
Are we doing each other's?
Overall
rating? I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know, Zach, what kind of question that is, but
I like that question.
It is.
You like
good,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to put,
Do your own.
I'll do everybody. I'll do everybody.
Okay, go
I'll do
ahead.
everybody. All right. So 99 being the highest?
Yeah. You first.
No. I'll do me last. Mickey, I'll say you are
65.
no. I'll say you're 87. Sidney Crosby. Slower speed.
All right, Pac-Man Jones.
Might be better if you break it down offense, defense, overall.
Okay.
No, let's hear what we got to say about speed.
No.
Talk about it.
Say what you're
I'm going to
trying-
say 87. I'm not going to say any more. Chris Cloutier. It's going to be not strictly, more soft hands, great shooter, and great picks. I should add that. I'm going to give you a
Contract year.
I'm going to give you a solid 85.
All right.
Solid 85. Chase Fraser loves the celly, scores big goals, sets great picks. Soft hands. I'm gonna have to say you are. I'm gonna say you're an 86. Josh Byrne does it all. MVP. I'm gonna have to say 97. 97. I don't know who would be even better than that, but because you're MVP. For me, I'm gonna say don't do much. Help my teammates out. Good pep talk guy, great leader. I'm gonna say 84.
See, I would say your pep talks hurt you.
Oh, okay. Sometimes. Depends how many coffees I have. Depends how many coffees.
Honestly, towards the end, you were so dialed, but it was like.
After every time he breaks us down after the house shooting, me and Weiser always go to the top line, and every time we like talk about whether it was a good one or a bad one.
No, come on.
Every time Weiser will be like, better than last. couple mess ups there. He reeled it in.
From Katie, what was one unexpected takeaway from last season?
One unexpected takeaway?
It's a tough question.
That is a tough question. Is that a double negative?
Unexpected. You guys staring at me?
Well,
I'm trying to. I didn't hear the question fully. One unexpected takeaway. I think you can kind of go back to it, but like, I don't think anyone expected to be at 5 and 6 and outside looking in a playoff spot. Like,
right.
I mean, it could potentially happen, but with the seasons we've had in the past and bringing a lot of guys back and the team we had, I think it took us longer than we thought and hoped to get the chemistry and all that. So that's probably.
It's a great answer. Katie would be proud.
I actually got another one too. I think there was 0 bets placed that it would be Buffalo and Albany in the finals at the beginning of the season. So the fact that we were playing Albany, I think was a very unexpected takeaway. No one was going in. Man, we went into that first game against Albany and walked into a buzzsaw.
Right.
Like everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna nice little stretch out the legs and kick one off in Albany," and we just got hammered. So I think that'd be one.
That's a good one.
Thanks, man. Well, this is also a pretty good question. If you could change or make up one rule for NLL, what would it be, Chase?
Make or change a rule.
Bigger net, smaller goalies. You can
celebrate
whatever you want.
Do group celebration.
No, they don't need any of that. I don't know. I'm bad at this stuff.
I would say shorter reviews.
Yeah.
And challenges. Sometimes you get drawn out.
Put a time clock.
Time clock. 2-minute max on review.
Yeah.
Like how long the refs have to look
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
it.
like when the challenge flag goes out, they go back. Shouldn't take more than 2 minutes.
Right.
Like,
And if you can't
'cause if you're
decide, then
searching
it's
and, like,
inconclusive.
it feels like sometimes they're like really searching for
biased,
something.
right?
Yeah, but
Looking for something.
They're like, his toes gotta be in the grease,
Yeah.
man.
No way.
This guy just mother effed
keep
me for the last
zooming
10
in.
minutes, man. His toe was in the grease.
I promise you, I'm finding an angle.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many things that could be changed. I would like if you just put field nets out there.
Yeah,
And I think
incredible.
it'd be way easier.
And long pulls and stuff? Or
No. I don't get slashed.
Oh, you're right.
Those dunks, though.
But yeah, listen, that's it for the show. Obviously, thank you guys again for jumping on.
only took 2 seasons to get us on. But
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. We've been
Well,
thinking
we knew
about
we were
it.
going back to back, so we figured first time no, second time makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Smart.
Exactly.
and we brought 3 on because we're hoping to go for a 3P. You're smart. I'm counting.
You're dialed today.
But we also want to thank Milk for Health, our sponsor. Like I said, they've supported us all year. And again, we know you guys are busy, whether it be on the golf course. I know Chris is trying to get better, so this one's tough. But again, we know it's not easy, so we appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, big time. And don't forget to make sure to like, subscribe, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Make sure to follow the boys. And